watching this, I would tell somebody to watch the entirety of Sound Euphonium just to watch Liz and the Bluebird.
Yep, absolutely.
You know,
It's otaku time!
hey.
Liz and the Bluebird was directed by Naoko Yamada, who also directed A Silent Voice.
Oh,
snap!
You know, I kind of... No, never mind.
Yeah, you didn't put it together. Don't lie.
No, I didn't. No, I was going to say they kind of felt similar animated, but I was like, wait, no, they're like, that has nothing to do
I
with
had a
direction.
feeling it was that person I didn't know. Yeah.
No. Nope. Sorry.
So this movie, I feel, is mostly about the contrasts of things, like how the visuals of the real world are all muted in color and stuff, and then when you go to the storybook of Liz and the Bluebird, it's all super vibrant and colorful, and how that plays off of the contrast between Nozomi and Mizore and how different they are. And you can see that from even the opening scene of when they're walking up to the classroom, and Nozomi is all playful and happy and bouncy, and Mizore is all, tightened to herself and just looking down, not as open in her movement as Nozomi.
100%. Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Wow. Yeah, I did take it. I noticed some contrasts, like, and it was more towards the end. But I didn't really pay attention to that, how different the story world was versus the real world.
Yeah, other than the fact that it was literally animated different. Like, that was really the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah,
I didn't relate the two.
I did love how, obviously, it's the story world, but it literally looked like an animated storybook.
Right. Yep. I like that too.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I love how differently the real world was animated too, from Sound Euphonium to Liz and the Bluebird.
It had more of like a deeper tone to it. Is that accurate? Like it kind of felt darker.
It was definitely,
the colors were less saturated.
Yeah.
It seems like the line weights on the characters and stuff were thinner.
Yeah.
And it seemed slightly more like simplified.
Yeah, there was. I took that as it being more because it was about Mizore and her outlook and her character as a whole was just a lot. She seemed a lot sadder. And I feel like it was more so from her perspective and how she it was her story, her and Nozomi, but mostly her growth. I'd say.
Yeah. It definitely felt like it was her show. Yeah,
which I'm super glad at because I wanted more of her. I thought she was a very interesting character.
Yeah.
And watching Sound Euphonium, I wanted more focus on her. Because even towards the end, when before they did their nationals concert, when she did the little fist bump, and I was like, yes.
She snuck over and she was like,
she had the reed in her mouth, and she was just like,
Yeah.
But that was so endearing, and I do love her character, and I was I loved Liz and the Bluebird.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Liz and the Bluebird was really, really good. It was so much more emotional to me because of obviously the whole story. I mean, the story in itself is an emotional story, but it the music felt more emotional. All the interactions felt so much more heavy than Sound Euphonium, where that was more joyful and happy-go-lucky, where this was more like I said, it was a deeper, darker kind of twist to it, if you will, which I respected because of obviously the main goal with Mizore and her growth.
Yeah, I loved again how there was conflict, but it wasn't world-ending conflict. It wasn't melodramatic. It wasn't over dramatic, but it was just they're two different people.
Yep.
Obviously Mizore is very shy and very withdrawn, and Nozomi is very outgoing and very not loud, but she's not
bubbly.
She's bubbly. She's not scared, and having those two be friends naturally would bring in conflict eventually. But the fact that again, it was so well written and so real life. There wasn't a huge blowout moment and they're fighting and they don't talk to each other and then it's been weeks and they suddenly get back together. It was so almost methodical, and just that it was a little, they drifted apart, they came back together, they understood each other. The story beats that were hit, I love the fact that it felt like I was just watching real people.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a reoccurrence of what happened in Sound Euphonium of like the miscommunication between them being the main source of the conflict and stuff.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. The fact that Mizore isn't confident enough to really speak her mind, and that usually ends up hurting her where it doesn't need to. It's just, how she is.
And Nozomi is not as conscious of Mizore as she could be.
Exactly.
The fact that she didn't tell her when she was going to quit, when she quit the band, and she was going to do it again when she wasn't going to tell her that she wasn't going to apply to the music college. Like, you're just repeating that same mistake. Like, I felt bad because, again, I understand Mizore's character, so I felt more so like against Nozomi in that stand. Like, you already know you made this mistake, so you're going to make this mistake again.
Right. Yeah.
But I also get it that Mizore, if you care about your friend, like, let her know how you feel.
Yeah. And it was really nice that, like, they had that same conflict, like, the same premise conflict, but they got through it through the book, right? Liz and the Bluebird, and through the the music, obviously, but like through they told the story. Liz and the Bluebird tells the story of Liz and the Bluebird through their interactions with each other. And then they they don't repeat the same mistakes that they did. They almost did, right? They was close, but they learned from that previous mistake and then kind of went about it. And obviously they had Liz and Bluebird to help, but they worked through it better that time.
I also love how they set up Nozomi as the Bluebird and Mizore as Liz in the beginning of it, because Liz is a lonely girl and she just makes friends with the Bluebird, who is all happy-go-lucky and bubbly, and then that seems to be like the reflection and representations of the characters. And then at the end they flip it around and they show that Mizore is actually the Bluebird, and Nozomi is holding her back from achieving her dreams and letting her go.
Like, I like that flip. Like, I absolutely love. Like it, and that's why watching this, I would tell somebody to watch the entirety of Sound Euphonium just to watch Liz and Bluebird.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, I want everybody to watch Liz and Bluebird, but to get that extra hit, you get to watch Sound Euphonium. And not that Sound Euphonium isn't great on its own,
right?
But just because of how much I absolutely love the story of Liz and Bluebird, because like it was when the teacher Nayami, when she was like, "Those are her actions. What about her feelings?"
Yeah,
and that clicked with Mizore. Like, immediately she started thinking about it differently, and that's when they like. When Nozomi was talking to Natsuki and Yuki, and they were both having that same realization at the same time, and I was just like, "This is beautiful." I was so happy because of like how Mizore's character was to come to that realization that she's the Bluebird.
Yep.
She's always like, "Oh no, I'm not this. I'm not, like, I'm shy. I'm not as good."
Yeah.
And then even Reina, like when she called her out on it, and she was like, "You're holding yourself back."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I want to hear you be as great as you can be. Just for that growth, to like for her to really accept that about herself. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And speaks to like it could speak to anybody.
Yeah.
Like you accept yourself.
It just made me love Mizore so much more. Like when you see just the whole growth of it. You know what I mean? Like you just it's so awesome. Yeah. And like Mizore's first solo, like after she made that realization that she's the Bluebird, like sent chills down my spine because it was so good. It you could feel the emotion through the music, and
that
it's
whole
like
ensemble performance.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And like I was like sitting there and I was like, I don't remember what it sounded like before because I have a goldfish brain when it comes to this. But dear God, this sounds amazing. You know what I mean? It was what?
Yeah.
I cried.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was. Yep.
It was just so beautiful. Like it was so beautiful. Just the stories, the characters, and then up to that point, like when the music hit, it was the whole transition, the whole growth, the distance between both characters, and then having them come back together, but almost switch positions.
Yep.
And then having that come across in the music, was
fantastic.
Yeah. It was an experience. It was just absolutely an experience.
And
it was absolutely beautiful.
It's not just the music, because the animation that accompanies it makes it all that more powerful, because you can actually feel the emotions that they're going through as they're performing this duet with each other.
Yeah.
Like at one point, it's like a call and response kind of part where Mizore does her part, and then Nozomi is playing, and then she doesn't get through all the way. Like she puts her flute down because she can't. She's so filled with emotion that she can't finish her part.
She started crying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Wait, are you asking?
No, she started crying.
Oh, I was like, wait, you saw this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know that was her first. Wasn't that's that same scene that I'm talking about, right? When Mizore's first solo, like when she made that realization, I think.
Didn't she request it at that time?
Yeah. She wanted to.
She was like, "Can we do the third?" Yeah.
Can we do the third
movement?
movement? Yeah. That was. I was like, damn.
I believe
you could tell that she was like Nozomi was like understanding that, like, wow.
Know your place.
Yep. Yep. She started.
You're holding her back.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And like you could see that in a reflection of their character as a whole. Like one of the things, like from that scene onward, like you could. Mizore is always following behind Nozomi. She's always like watching her interact with everybody, and she's staying behind her and following her. But after that scene, you see them both doing their own thing in like opposites.
Yeah.
Like, Mizore's wearing white socks, Nozomi's wearing black socks. You know, Nozomi's in the library, Mizuki's in the sound room, and even like the way like in the scene, like Nozomi takes a left turn and Mizore takes a right turn, just in what they're doing wherever they're at.
Yeah.
Like just that separation is just like Mizore doesn't necessarily need to. She doesn't need to hold back anymore. Yeah. She doesn't need to hold herself back. She can be her own person.
She's not caged anymore.
Exactly. And then like I believe it was during that ensemble that they had to end like the basically like crayon looking drawn bird flying.
Yeah.
And cut in between the shots of like Mizore and Nozomi, it was so good.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, fantastic, absolutely. And then you could even see like Mizore was like visually see like she was so much more like feeling the music and like really feeling herself. And they did a really, really, really good job to convey the emotion that they were going through and that kind of stuff. And then, you know, like what you were saying, how they were doing different things, like Mizore started to like hang out with the double reads and like started to like accept the invitations that she was being invited to.
When they left the school and like Mizore was actually the first one to walk past the gate and Nozomi followed her.
Yep.
I was just like, oh my god.
Yay. So good. You're becoming your own person.
I know. I was so happy. Like I just like it is just such a like big sense of relief because it wasn't it shouldn't. I feel like on paper it shouldn't have been as like emotional as it felt because like I said, there isn't that big like, oh my god, I hate you, blah blah blah, oh no, I love you, well, you know, it wasn't like that.
Yeah,
like the stakes still were so low, and like when you're not in it, like it just seems like it's such a low risk, you know, like it's just kind of, oh, they just got into a little fight, now they're back together again, but just like the way it was so impactful. It's so simple and so impactful.
Yeah, you can really feel it weighing on them as the movie goes on.
Right. And then especially because like, you know, we watched Sound Euphonium first, so like especially because we saw that first and we already kind of had like that baseline of character development for all of the literally all of the character, well, most of the characters, the pink and the blue scarves, that it was so much heavier, and it was just such a powerful hit of emotions that it was so wholesome. It was genuine. Like I can't describe it other than just like it was so like I was so happy.
I was so happy. I was so hurt, and I was so involved. I was so hurt when Nozomi was telling Mizore about the love hug, and like she just kidding, and like she was like, oh. And then when she was like gonna put her head on like Nozomi's shoulder and like she didn't realize and Nozomi just moved away like last second and she was just like, oh. I was so hurt. I was like, no, please. But then like when they were like reconciling and she was letting her know like her quitting the band, like, no, that's still today for me. I'm still hurt by that.
Right.
And she still hit her with the love hug. And she like, it was so cute. Like she raised her arm. She was like, love you hug. And then just went for it. Like I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because like Nozomi wasn't going to hug her. She was like, what are you talking about? And she just did anyways. And I was just
full
like,
send.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get that hug.
You. Yeah. Exactly.
You deserve that hug.
Exactly. Like you don't know how many, like that's so good because you don't know how many times I'm like, please just fucking hug. And I know it's a cultural thing, whatever. But like that moment felt so fucking good. I was just like, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, like you've grown so much as a character. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, I was so into this. And it's only an hour and a half, but like I was so fucking into it, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I loved how they threw in like subtle scenes
Mhm.
with all of the other characters from Sound Euphonium. Like, not they were the secondary characters in that, where Mizore and Nozomi were the secondary characters in Sound Euphonium. They were the primary character. Like it swapped. Like you saw them and you're like but it was never like, it was only there for like a couple seconds. You know what I mean? It was never there for a long time.
Like you see Kumiko and Reina playing the duet on their own instruments outside, and you're like, there they are.
Yeah.
That's what
exactly.
it feels like to be in sync, yo. It's what it looks like.
Yeah.
When you had Midori and Hazuki doing the ice cream.
Yeah.
Happy ice cream.
Yeah.
I was like, yay.
Yeah. It was just so cool to see them. You know what I mean? And then I even loved how they kind of expressed more about Natsuki and Yuko's like their own internal relationship. Was just like, it was so cute to see that. Like you get more of that.
Because initially all like, oh no, they hate each other. They're
Yeah.
like, Natsuki's so cool and Yuki's so like bubbly and like whatever. And then like now that they're president and vice president, which was absolutely set up by the 3rd years before.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, just
For
so
sure.
great to see the payoff and see exactly why they chose them, because they work so well with each other.
Right,
Like
yeah,
there's perfect foils for each other. And
Right.
it's so great to see, to the point like when they mentioned that like, oh, we're going to Natsuki was like, we're going to the same college, now we can be friends in college.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes, I love the teasing.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
so
something
good.
that's something that you don't get if you don't watch Sound Euphonium first,
Mhm.
So definitely, if you're interested in watching Liz and the Bluebird, definitely watch Sound Euphonium first. It's
It makes it so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But
You don't need to, but it
Yeah.
All good.
totally worth it. You're not losing time by doing that.
I love Liz and the Bluebird.
Facts, yeah,
Worth watching an entire series to really get it.
for sure, hands down.
Not a waste of time.
Not even
Because the
close.
series is good on its own.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
phenomenal.
All right, friends. Let us know what you thought of the video today and your thoughts on Liz and the Bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
Please like and subscribe for more otaku goodness.
Yes,
Yeah.
please,
Do it.
and share. Don't forget to share.
Yes, you are
Sharing.
the share man. Tell 'em
Share.
to share.
Sharing is caring. Okay.
All right, friends. Sayonara.
Bye.
Smoochies.